Hi everyone, welcome to Samantha Clift Pilates with a Twist. I'm Sam and today we're going to go through a sequence of Pilates stretches that will get everything warmed up and lengthened and to make you feel all stretched out and feeling good. So let's get started. Okay, so to begin with we're going to start sitting up and starting to stretch out the neck and shoulders. Just getting yourself into that nice Pilates position, so making sure that you're sitting tall. Imagine a thread coming out of the top of your head and pulling you up nice and tall. You might feel a little bit of heat in your lower back if you're not used to sitting this way, but that's completely normal. It will get better as you get more used to it. So sitting up tall, thinking about your abdominal muscles, just keeping them pulled in a little bit, pelvic floor lifted, shoulders down away from the ears. I'm just going to start by warming up the neck, looking behind the shoulder and to the other side, nice and slowly. Just making sure if there is any stiffness that you're not bringing the shoulders up, just to try and alleviate that slightly, because we do want to get that stretch into the trapezius of the shoulders. It really helps to open out the chest. If we think about pulling our shoulder blades back, imagine there's a pencil between the shoulder blades, so really squeezing as much as you can, pulling the shoulders back and together, which is a really nice stretch, and then you get the real benefit down the side of the neck. And now we're going to sweep down towards the belly button, so looking there, looking behind the shoulder, and again keeping those shoulders down, arms nice and relaxed. Keeping that going. If there is any sticking, if you can feel any tightness, any knots in the back of your neck, just nod your head in that position just to ease any sticking, and it does tend to massage that muscle and allow it to just let go a little bit. Okay, and head back to the middle. We're going to take the arms up now as you breathe in, breathing out, slowly lowering down. Breathing in as you lift, starting to mobilise through the shoulders, out as you lower down. And again. Keep breathing, arms up to chest height now, and out to the side, really squeezing those shoulder blades together, back to the centre and down, and again, arms up, out to the side, back to the centre and down. One more. Really squeezing those shoulder blades together, back to the centre and down. Just going to place the hand down by your side, lifting the arm up, reaching up as high as you can, and then slowly bending to the side. And feel that stretch all the way down through the side body. Trying to keep the other arm nice and relaxed, back to the centre. We're going to do the same the other side, reaching up as high as you can and then slowly stretching to the side. Okay, back to the centre. We're going to let gravity do its job now, and we're going to start lying down on the mat and using the weight of the arms to stretch the muscles. This ponytail is going to be a pain. Lower that down a little bit. So starting off with feet flat on the floor, tucking your chin in if you don't have a ponytail in the way. Really annoying, tucking your chin in slightly. And we're going to take the head to the side again. You get a little bit of a massage down through the back of the neck. If you get the kind of tightness here, that classic start of a headache knot up into the occipital space, it really does tend to start here, and then you get that kind of tension all the way around through the head. So this is a really good massage for the back of the head. Okay, starting to mobilise through the shoulders now, tucking the chin in, taking one arm up, trying to get it down to the floor if you can. You might not be able to, and also you might find that one side is slightly stiffer than the other, but just keeping going, keeping your lower body nice and relaxed. Lower back in neutral, so we've got a couple of fingers under the lower section of your back, not pushing it into the mat and not arching too much, so just allowing for that neutral spine, natural curve of the lower back, arm up and down. So keep breathing, in through the nose, out through the mouth. And again, you might find that there's a little bit of stiffness, but just keeping that going until you feel there could be some tightness in the deltoids, down into the kind of triceps, but just keep that going. So it's allowing your chest to open as well, as you're lying on your back. And now we're going to take both arms up at the same time. Again, trying to touch the floor or the mat above the head if you can. Palms down as they come back down. Breathing in as you lift. Try not to get those shoulders up around the ears, still keeping that nice distance. And again. So you can do this as many times as you need until you feel that those shoulders, it's starting to become a little bit easier, especially if your hands are quite a long way off the mat, above your head. So you can keep that going. Oh gosh. And if not, you can bring the leg in at the same time, so arm and leg away, back to the centre and to the other side. So starting to warm up through your lower abs, through the hips, quads, knees. So really stretching that arm and leg away. You see how everything's starting to get moving now. Really good for just getting everything stretched out, mobilised. Okay, one more. Back to the centre. Now we're going to keep one knee still. I'm going to drop the other knee down to the mat, starting to stretch through the hips, through the adductors. And back to the centre. You might find that you can feel that through the hip. Trying to keep this knee pointing up towards the ceiling. Imagine you've got a glass of wine balanced on that knee and you really don't want to spill any. So keeping it straight and to the other side. Again, you might find that one side's slightly stiffer than the other. Usually find that just relaxing into that stretch, so when you drop that knee, just letting it go. Obviously if there's any pain, then please stop and move on to another exercise, but there might be a little bit of discomfort if the muscles are tight. Brilliant. Again with the mobilisation, so lifting one leg into a single leg lift, second leg, double leg lift, foot down, so mobilising through your ball and socket of your hip, starting to engage the lower abs as well, which is a little bit of a bonus. And we're just watching the core, so keeping the abs pulled in, we're not putting any pressure through the back shouldn't be shifting up and down as you move at all. So you're keeping those abs in. It's a really good way to just concentrate with this small movement, to concentrate on the pelvic floor and your abdominal muscles. And really good if you just want to target these lower muscles. So lifting, lifting, lowering, lowering. Okay, we're now going to start to just stretch out the hamstrings and calves, so bringing the knees in towards your chest, and we're going to slowly start lifting the legs. If you only get to here and the knees are still bent, that's absolutely fine, but if you can, just try and aim to straighten the legs as much as you can. You can either point the toes or flex the toes. You can get that greater stretch all the way down through the back, and it's also quite nice to do a little bit of both, just to stretch those muscles. You can feel that really moving. If you've got really flexible calves and hamstrings, which I don't, I think this is kind of my limit, you can lift them or bring them closer towards the chest just to stretch a little bit more. You know, feel this really starting to create some heat through the quads as well, which is a bonus. Keeping that going, stretching the legs. Brilliant, just two more, keeping those legs going. Fantastic, great for circulation as well. And we're going to bring those knees down. You're going to turn onto your side. If you have a block or a towel or a blanket or a hoodie, whatever feels comfortable. So we're just going to place the towel or the block under the head. Knees stacked on top of each other, so imagine they're glued together. We don't want them sliding back. This is a chest stretch. I'm going to have the room. So coming to the front of your mat and then bringing the arms in front of you, palms on top of each other, keeping those knees still. And we're going to watch that hand as we slowly bring the arm back. So creating that stretch through the neck, you can come all the way down to the mat, you can have a wall in the way. So opening out your chest, so taking that arm out to the side and relaxing into that stretch. So you would be having your arm, come away from that, completely flat out. So we've got that really good stretch through the pec. Just watching the knees, if they slide back, you're not going to get such a great stretch through the chest. So knees glued together and don't let them move at all. So you might find there's quite a gap between your hand and the floor, but that's okay. Watching the hand as it comes back, rolling through the neck. Hopefully the palms should meet. And then back again. You might find that every time you can get a little bit closer. So we're going to do about 3 or 4 this way, and then swap over to the other side and do the same again. Again, you might find that one side's slightly stiffer than the other. But this is a really great one to do, especially if you're sitting at a desk a lot, you're driving, picking up young children. Lots of different jobs that this would be really helpful for. So making sure that you're doing the same on the other side, watching the knees. So taking the arm all the way back, if you could, if you had more space, looking at that arm, relaxing into that stretch. You can feel that right across the pecs. Slowly coming back. Hopefully the hands should meet. And again, so taking your time, going at your own pace. And coming down, so there's a little bit of movement as well, we're keeping that going, but make sure that there's just a few breaths into that full stretch, just to relax and open out the muscles, using gravity, okay, the weight of the arm to pull it down, back to the centre. So again, 3 or 4, I think this is number 4, lose count, and back to the centre. Lovely. Okay, now in the sitting position, we're going to do a little bit of stretch through the back, through the legs, if it's particularly tight, through your back, through your calves, through your hamstrings. So sitting up tall again, imagine that thread coming out the top of your head, shoulders down. You're going to reach the arms forward. Okay, we're going to lift up through the hips and stretch forward. We're not aiming to touch the toes, we're aiming to stretch beyond. Flexing the toes, just get that stretch down through the calves and hamstrings, and we're going to hold here, no jerking at all, nice and smooth, and just holding. You're going to feel that stretch all the way down through your lower back. This is primarily a spine stretch, but obviously you're going to feel, it depends on where particularly is tight for you. If you really feel that you need that back stretch, then please feel free to bend the knees and lean forward a little bit more. So you're going to feel that greater stretch through the back. If the back seems to be okay, then aiming to straighten the legs, not locking the knees, but just straightening them a little bit so you can feel that calf and hamstring stretch as well. So holding here for a few breaths, breathing in through the nose, out through the mouth, and then slowly releasing. I'm going to target the hamstrings now, so you can either take the foot up to the calf, knee, or thigh, flexing that toe again and reaching forward. So this time we are trying to get the leg kind of straight. It might need to be bent to begin with, but aiming to slowly stretch to lengthen that muscle. If there's tightness here, it tends to have that knock-on effect to the lower back. So really good one to stretch. Again, holding, not pulsing, just holding for a few breaths. If you feel the stretch release, just leaning forward, even if it's a millimetre, and then slowly releasing back again. And to the other side, foot to the calf, the knee or the thigh, flexing the toe, lifting up and stretching forward. Just watch those shoulders, make sure they don't creep up around the ears. And again, if you feel that stretch release, then we can reach forward just a little bit more to lengthen the muscle. Brilliant. Okay, going along with this same area, and we're going to go into the stool. So we're going to take the legs out wide. You see both my feet. So legs out wide, again sitting up tall. If you've got quite a tight lower back, then we can always get a block or a towel, place it under your bum, just to increase that angle slightly, make the legs a little bit more comfortable to stretch them out, but completely up to you. So stretching the legs out, So we're getting that stretch through the inner thigh, through the adductors, which is a really nice stretch, really quite important to stretch the whole of the hips. So again, flexing the toes, we're going to sit up tall and we're going to turn towards the leg, twisting, and we're just going to, again, hold. There's going to be quite a big pull through here. If it's uncomfortable, that's fine, but if it's painful, please bring the legs in a little bit closer, even if they're here. All got to start somewhere, so please don't worry about that, just whatever you need. And it depends on the day as well, it depends how flexible you are, depends what you've been doing. So it's not always the exact science. If you did it yesterday doesn't mean that we can do it today. So just listening to your body, reaching forward, feeling that pull down through the side. Again, no jerking, just holding. And when that body releases the stretch just a little bit, should take about 10 seconds, we can reach a little bit further forward. Let's do the same again to the other side, reaching up tall, lifting up from the hip, turning, and then reaching towards the foot, flexing the toe. Again, we're not collapsing down onto the toe, we're reaching forward, just keeping those shoulders down. Brilliant, and when that stretch releases, just bring those legs in, you might want to pat them, release them, give them a stretch. Bring the feet together now. So we're going to hold the toes and we're just going to reach forward. So when aiming to look down, we're aiming, imagine you're looking into a puddle. Don't know why that came into my head, or maybe a nice pond with fish in. So we're reaching forward, keeping our back nice and straight. And again, you're going to feel that real stretch through the hips, keeping those knees down as far as they will go and just reaching forward a little bit more. Keeping those shoulders down. Brilliant. And into the saw now. So again, taking the legs wide. We're not going to worry about how far they are. Again, it's completely up to you. We're going to take the arms up to chest height, looking forward. We're going to reach to the side, and what we're aiming to do, take that arm behind, is saw off your little toe. Okay, so this time we are going to do that kind of dramatic stretching, that, what's it called, developmental stretching, that we're going to really target that muscle. So arms up to the side, we're going to pulse 1, 2, 3, back to the center, to the other side, 1, 2, 3, back to the center, 1, 2, 3, back to the centre. Don't worry if you can't touch your little toe, if you're sawing off a bit of your leg, absolutely fine. No pressure. And I think it's always a nice gauge to look back in a few months' time and see, you can actually tangibly see how far you've come, which is great. Keep going with that. Back to the centre, 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3, to the centre, 1, 2, 3. And we'll stretch our back and just give those legs a good stretch after that workout. So we're just going to start on all fours, hands under your shoulders, knees under your hips. Nice stable base, and take one leg back, second leg back into the leg pull. I think the legs just need a little movement after that. Back, back, down, down. Keeping going. Lovely, only for a couple. And then we're going to go into cat-cow, stretching the whole of the back. So into cat to begin with, arching your back, tucking your tummy, head under, looking towards the belly button, and into the cow. So dipping the back, bottom out, head forward. Really great stretch all the way up through your back. So making sure you are breathing in this exercise, not holding your breath. In through the nose, out through the mouth. Brilliant, keep that going. Shoulders down away from your ears. Brilliant. And back to centre. We're just going to come down onto the mat and into mini cobra, back down, and then hopefully coming up into 4 if you can, keeping those legs down on the mat and feeling that stretch through the back, through the abs. You can look up, shoulders down, away from the ears, just relaxing into that stretch, slowly coming down, and then we're going to tuck the feet under and push back into downward dog. We're going to pedal here, so stretching the legs, stretching your back. Brilliant. We can bend the knees and stretch through the shoulders here to kind of extended puppy, and then back into downward dog. If you can take the heels down towards the mat, then great. No pressure to do so. Definitely don't knock the knees. If the knees are bent, that's absolutely fine. And then knees down, coming back into child's pose. First of all, with the knees together, forearms down on the mat, head down. Feel that stretch through your lower back. And then taking the knees as wide as the mat, feet together, and then coming down a little bit more. You might feel more of a stretch through your shoulders here. And again, a few deep breaths, relaxing into that stretch. Fantastic. I hope you enjoyed that video and you feel a little bit more subtle, a little bit more stretched out, and feel ready to get on with the rest of the day, or maybe, you know, a good stretch before you go to bed. Completely up to you. If you did like it, please like and subscribe this video, and don't forget to press that bell icon just so you're notified of future videos, and I look forward to seeing you next time. Bye.